The late afternoon slate was led by the Buffalo Bills traveling to Philadelphia, and I mean, this was probably the best game of the year. I mean, overtime, back and forth, two quarterbacks that are probably up there for the MVP race right now. I mean, yes, Josh Allen has been consistent, but statistically, and a lot of metrics, he's been a top 5 quarterback. I think the issue is with both of these quarterbacks, they have issues with turnovers, at least this season, and Josh Allen has had turnover problems for the better part of his career, but they still make plays at the end of the day. They're dynamic with dual threat capabilities. They can do it with their arm and their legs, and we saw that with these two guys going back and forth, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, and Buffalo was very, very good, at least for 2.5 quarters, I want to say. First half, they were very dominant, especially in that second quarter, and despite their defense being pretty much decimated, the fact that it was a rainy, cold day really helped this defense muck up the game because they kept Jalen Hurts and that Eagles offense in check for much of that first half, only 50 yards heading into the fourth quarter actually. I was really impressed because Sean McDermott has been under scrutiny because the defense has been decimated, but also just been kind of leaky at points, especially against lesser competition. But this was a good showing so far, but that dam kind of broke through, especially in the second half, because the Eagles stuck with the run. I have my issues with OC Brian Johnson. I mean, the first half was just poor, not ideal, and that one drive that they scored featured a lot of running plays, especially with DeAndre Swift. I'm still not sure why he hasn't been getting a lot of touches. I'm not sure if there's direction that save him for the postseason or a direction that he needs to get fresh. He needs to be fresh or he's out of gas. Whatever the case is, he's new to being the bell cow feature back, that is true, but he's been capable of getting at least 15, 16 carries and then maybe like 2-3 receptions a game. He's probably just such an underrated piece, and when he gets going, this opens up everything for the team. When he gets going, the read option is there with Jalen. Despite that knee injury, which is described as a knee contusion, he's been able to run the ball pretty well after the bye week. I mean, a 10-yard scamper against the Kansas City Chiefs and a couple pretty nice runs, something I haven't seen out of Jalen for the better part of this year. Didn't turn around until about the fourth quarter, but this is when we got to see Devontae Smith get going. I mean, he, I think, has been kind of forgotten after all this early season success with AJ Brown, but now with AJ getting a lot of double teams, he's been limited. He's been, I wouldn't say shut down, but he's getting a lot more attention. And if you're Jalen, why throw there when you have Devontae Smith? Devontae has been killing it as of late, 99-yard games a couple times this year now, 100 yards. I think he's one of the best receivers in this league, and he just gets kind of put in the shadow because he's next to AJ Brown on the other side. But Devontae is as close to a number 1 as you can get with any team's number 2 receiver. I think him and Jalen Waddle are in very similar roles where they're just in the shadow of superstar receivers. But let's turn to Jalen Hurts. I mean, the true star of the second half. It was very bad, 2 turnovers and not a lot going for you. After the third quarter kind of muzzled out, I was thinking it's not looking that good. I mean, down 10 points heading into the fourth quarter, but Jalen kept the team going. I mean, countless drives, 3 consecutive touchdown drives to take the lead, and these are sloppy, wet conditions, and no matter how the Eagles have played sloppy, good, mostly meh type of football, they get it done, especially in second halves. I mean, we've seen so many second half shutouts by Sean Desai's defense, or the offense picking it up to another gear, either through the run game or passing game, whatever the case may be. They've been getting it done, and now they're 10-1. They're 2 games ahead of their next closest competition in terms of record, and I think that's something really impressive. I mean, to have a 2-game lead in your conference 3/4 of the way of the season, usually things are pretty tight. You're tied, you're a game ahead, but 2-game lead, that's huge. And that could even extend after the next week, or at least worst case scenario, it's a cushion for whatever happens. You never know what happens against other teams. So I think with the Eagles right now, what they're doing is they're winning ugly, but they are tested. They're battle tested. I mean, remember, this season is a marathon, and yes, they're taking body blow after body blow, but they're still standing up, and they have a lot left in the tank, it looks like. I just don't know if it's something that's going to run out. Don't know. But so far, I mean, they're translating this into winning football. They're getting it done. And that's, at the end of the day, that's really what matters, right? Jalen says, since when has winning not been the main thing? And that's what he's done consistently. And to go further into what Jalen has done, I mean, 5 touchdowns, 3 through the air, 2 on the ground, including the game-winning QB draw in overtime. I thought this is probably his best game of the year, especially the best half of his year so far. I mean, not good in the first half, 4 total touchdowns in the second half, especially the game-winning one. It seems that when the games really get tight is when Jalen shines. I mean, so many times, this is the 8th consecutive win where Jalen has gone down 10 plus points, but helped the Eagles rally to a win. And with this, I mean, I think that means he's the leader of the MVP. In terms of betting, he was favored heading into the Chiefs game, and now is the betting leader after the Chiefs game, and should be gaining, or at least building, a sizable lead against maybe Lamar. I think is this the biggest threat at this point to win the MVP. But I mean, Jalen, people are gonna nitpick. It's the tush-push touchdowns, it's the interceptions, the turnovers. Yeah, I understand that. That's still not good. I'm not happy about his turnovers. It's 10 interceptions, and I'm not sure about the lost fumble count, but it's definitely at least like a total of 13, 14 turnovers on the year. But let's remember, he's a dual threat quarterback. He has 29 total touchdowns entering the 3-quarter mark of the year. That's really impressive. That's really good. With 6 weeks left, if he stays healthy, I mean, there's a pretty good chance he's going to be the first quarterback to have like 25 passing touchdowns and 15 rushing touchdowns for like over 40 total touchdowns. That's insane. And I think what he's doing right now, being a galvanizing leader, staying calm, cool, collected, that is just what a leader is, and that's who should be the MVP this year. Now, to go to the Bills side, this is just a huge loss, 6-6. Your chances of making the playoffs are on life support right now. Josh Allen probably had his best game of the year, and that still wasn't enough to get a win on the road. You're gonna get your customary Josh Allen interception, and that just came at the worst time possible. I mean, you're still up, but you've given some momentum back to Philly in that 4th quarter, but to give it right back to James Bradbury, I thought was really bad on the Bills' part. And there was just a lot of sloppiness too. Let's remember that the Bills had 10 first half penalties in this game, and that's this Sean McDermott team who preaches discipline. Tough guy, especially on the defensive end. That's a disciplinary thing. That's not being smart. That happened on pre-snap penalties, holdings. There's a lot of things that could be cleaned up, and that's just something I'm very surprised with Sean McDermott's team, and that's kind of led them to what they are. I mean, turnovers, couple missed kicks, right? Tyler Bass missed a field goal, had one blocked as well, and that was a real big difference in this game. I mean, to have those 2 field goals back, the Eagles would be probably on the losing side of this matchup, but instead it goes to overtime. Eagles get it done, and now the Bills are 6-6 with not having tiebreakers, right? I mean, they're already lost to the Denver Broncos, who have a half-game lead already. They still have to play the Kansas City Chiefs, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Miami Dolphins later this year. In this uber competitive AFC conference, I just don't see an avenue unless some other team were to have a complete collapse. They'd be lucky to sniff the 7th seed, but they have the bye week. They can maybe get things right, turn it on. If anyone can do it, it's Josh Allen and the Bills, but I mean, time is ticking, and if they don't get it done, I really think a lot of big changes have to be made, if not already, to the Buffalo Bills.